Attack on Titan has concluded, and I want to tell you about what I thought. Obviously, this video is going to have the most extreme of spoilers, so if you haven't watched Attack on Titan, here's a bit of advice from the unobjectionable, preeminent anime expert, also known as me. Attack on Titan is the greatest anime to ever be shown to us, and it might as well be the greatest story to ever be told. So if you haven't seen AOT, forget about this and go watch that.
Well, there's no problem. If you had a gun, shoot him in the head.
The conclusion to Attack on Titan was set in stone as far back as Season 3. It was the moment when, at least I thought, the Eren we knew from Seasons 1 through 3 was well and truly gone. Well, actually, at the tail end of AOT, we see that maybe our boy is somewhere in that genocidal, monstrous frame, but we'll get to that later. Eren was always a personality. Sure, a lot of the personality was that's still a personality though, and all the way up to just at the apex of Season 3 did we have one kind of childish, but wholly lovable character that was Eren. And then the ceremony happened. If you don't know, which means you didn't fucking listen to me, and you didn't go watch Attack on Titan after I told you to, I hate you. But just to humor you, the ceremony is the moment in which Eren was granted omniscience over time, essentially. And with that, he knows the absolute fate of all of his friends, what he's going to do to ensure their fate happens, and also how many people he's going to kill in the process. Hint, it's 1.6 billion. That's a lot. Immediately after the ceremony, Eren is almost completely devoid of emotion, and he stays like that all the way to the end of the show. This doesn't seal his fate by any means. A lot of anime characters tend to have this sort of evolution. However, a lot of anime characters don't commit a lot of war crimes. Like a lot of war crimes. And really bad ones too. Like really, really, really bad ones.
Don't you know how to stand anymore?
Mr. Koslow, what's wrong with these soldiers?
This is a sorry bunch of Eldians with mental trauma.
The Titans of the Walls will continue their march until every trace of life beyond our shores is trampled flat.
Skip forward a little bit, and Eren has unleashed a whole slew of colossal titans on the world. The Rumbling, as it's called, is meant to kill everybody who isn't on the island of Paradis. 80% of the world's population is decimated, crushed. Regardless of whether we wanted it or not, it appeared Eren had to go. The only question was, how was Eren going to die? The answer to that question was incredibly surprising, although now that I think about it, it really shouldn't have been. It's actually kind of poetic. The person who loved Eren more than anybody else, the most loyal companion Eren ever had, Mikasa, was the one to slice his head clean off. It's real special once you realize the first thing Eren saw in Attack on Titan was Mikasa, and the last thing he saw in Attack on Titan was Mikasa. And so that is the end of Eren's story. I mean, unless you're religious, then I suppose...
これからはずっと一緒だね。
これからどこで？
あればだけど地獄で。
Hey there. Get off my throne.
What else is he gonna do when he gets down there? Not rule? Come on. Anyway, now I can talk about what I alluded to earlier. As we learn in the message that was given to Armin before Eren died, the change in Eren's demeanor and emotion set was mostly just for show.
少なくともミカサはこんな女泣かせのことは忘れて幸せになるべきだね。まあ案外すぐにいい人見つけてあっさりくっつく気もするな。
やだ、そんなのやだ。ミカサに男ができるなんて一生俺だけは思っててほしい。俺が死んだ後もしばらく10年以上は引きずっててほしい。
He played the bad guy as best he could, which was very good. Eren succeeded on two fronts. There would be no reprisal attack against the Eldian people, which assuredly was on the way because of the attack on Liberio and because people just really hate Eldian folks. And two, everybody in the scout regiment that tried to stop him and eventually succeeded are now going to be universally accepted and treated as heroes. I only have one piece of contention about the whole thing. If they would have just left Eren's actions morally ambiguous, up to the viewer to decide whether it was justified or not, left it at that, it would have been fine. Except when Eren tries to fuck it, just watch what he says.
お前たちが救える人類は2割までだ。もう決まっている。
What?
もう何度も試みては失望したが、未来の記憶は寸分たがわぬまま起こることは変わらなかった。
Now, I know that's just not true. It's not true. He said 5 minutes before this exact statement that he was the one who sent the Titan towards his mother because Bertolt had to live. So by nature of him stating that and feeling guilty about it, he has to have control over at least what happens sometimes. And if you have control of what happens sometimes in a timeline, then you can control everything because little things control big things. The more I think about it, the more I understand why people thought the ending was going to be terrible. If you experience the ending by reading the manga, you're going to be far more attentive to the little things happening because it's a lot more difficult to be distracted by pretty moving animation, a wonderful soundtrack, and all these characters that you've listened to and loved for so long. The manga readers probably just saw the convoluted and unnecessary aspects, like the thing going on with Ymir and King Fritz. Nobody cares. Literally nobody. You don't exist. Shut up. Let's just settle on Eren doing what he thought he had to do. No strings attached. No bullshit. He's just a maniac, but he's our maniac. Now that I've flexed my complete authority over the matter onto you, let's talk about how it ended for a few other characters. First up is my main man, Levi. He's had one goal for the past few years, and all of us in the Survey Corps desperately needed and wanted him to accomplish it. But I forgot what it was. Damn it, I'm just so stupid.
I'll reach the Beast Titan and tear him apart.
Oh yeah. Put him down, Captain. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. He was trapped for who knows how long, somewhere only Eren could get to him. And guess what? Second he popped out. Such a sweet sound. So sweet, in fact, I'm sure they heard it in heaven. Actually, they did. All the dead members from the greatest group the Eldian Empire ever had showed up one last time to give a full salute to the greatest member of said group. Nobody forgets the sacrifices they made, because they gave their hearts, just like everybody should. With Levi's mission accomplished, and with the power of the Titans dissolved, there's no real telling what the Short King's gonna be up to. The last time we see Levi in Attack on Titan, he's in a wheelchair handing out food and candy to kids. At the very least, we know that Levi can rest now, and he really does deserve it. For the other characters I'll talk about, let's begin with Mikasa and Armin. Oh, Armin, you are in for it, you know, because you're probably gonna get hitched to the war criminal. A lot of people seem to forget that. This bitch is straight up crazy. Totally nuts. And you know what, Armin? I 100% get it. Surely you know better than a lot of people that she is a homicidal, deranged woman. But that was so long ago. You were just a boy. And now, you're a man. Also, assets. As far as Mikasa is concerned, her ending lines up with Eren's, and the last time we see her is right next to his grave. What feels like ages ago when I was watching the episodic releases of Season 4 Part 2, there's a moment where Mikasa takes off her scarf and neatly folds it somewhere. That made me freak out, probably more than it should have. There are few things more symbolic and meaningful in Attack on Titan than the scarf Eren gave Mikasa. So it's a real big deal that in the end, she still has the scarf on, and what I presume to be Eren in bird form comes down to make sure it's nice and snug. The last character I'll talk about before moving on to the final segment about Paradis Island is Reiner. And I'm on the fence with this mofo. On one hand, you have him as an enemy outside the walls, and he betrayed the Survey Corps. But also, to people that wanted to stop Eren, namely the Survey Corps, he was pretty damn helpful. In the second special episode, he's getting his ass beat constantly. He's on the verge of death towards the end, but he's still in the fight, trying his damnedest. It was very heroic to stand down a horde of Titans in an attempt to stop Eren from regaining control of all the Colossals, which he did while sounding badass as hell. But does that mean Reiner's retribution for the slaughter of countless civilians inside the walls is over? I really don't like the guy, but I'm not really mad at Peek and Annie, who are also alive, although we afford them a bit of a longer rope for reasons. For the sake of being fair, I think I can allow Reiner's retribution to be completed. He was less than a year off from keeling over due to the power of the Titans, but regardless, he still pursued the just path, or what he thought was the just path, and he helped out a lot of our comrades. I suppose now we can go into my final segment about the Eldian people on Paradis Island. Their history of Titans has concluded, and my personal guess about where they go from here is spreading peace, love, absolute serenity across the planet. What is that sound? Oh my God! Historia, Queen of the Walls. I'm not saying nothing. I'm just talking here. But it looks a little familiar. Just a little. So the Jaegerists decided that they would band together to make a strong military fighting force that could protect the island. Solid plan. Not sure if I believe that is what the plan is, but I guess we'll never know. If you watch this little window in the credits, which I'm sure we all did, we get to see what happens many years after the events of Attack on Titan. Straight up nuclear annihilation of the entire planet. That's a bummer. But hold on, there's one more thing we see right after the credits, and it's terrifying. Some kid is traveling through the apocalyptic wasteland with his dog when he comes upon a tree. What's the significance of this tree? Well, it's where Eren was buried. And the tree itself, along with the boy walking into it, is a near carbon copy of Ymir walking into the tree to be granted the power of the Titans, which led to the history of Attack on Titan as we know it. You know where I'm going with this. Everything that happened will happen again, probably in a very similar way. At least it'll be interesting. And with that, the cover is closed for Attack on Titan. This video is also about to come to an end, and I really appreciate you watching it. My final opinion about the end of Attack on Titan is that I loved it. Plain and simple. So before I let you go, give your hearts. I've been your American Otaku. This, of course, has been my co-host, Zero2. And I'll catch you next time.